Okay, so blockchain.
Blockchain.
Everyone wants in.
Yeah.
But, like, how do you actually get hired? Lucky for us, we've got these awesome guides from RoleCatcher.
I was just looking these over.
I know, right?
Really good stuff.
So we're going to do a deep dive.
Yeah.
Not just, like, what blockchain is,
Yeah.
but how to ace those interview questions. Because they get...
Oh, they're tough.
They're tough.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at the interview guide here.
Yeah.
And some of these sample questions are wild.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how do you ensure the privacy of blockchain transactions? Isn't that kind of like
That's the thing, right?
the opposite of
Everyone, well,
bugaboo?
blockchain is supposed to be.
Transparency? It's all public, but there's nuance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're testing. Can you see beyond the surface level?
Okay, so I walk into this interview. They hit me with that privacy question. What's my strategy?
Well, first off, you don't panic.
Because my instinct is to freeze a little. You acknowledge the elephant in the room. Yes, blockchain is inherently transparent. But then you pivot. This is where you show off you know how to bake privacy into the system.
Okay, baking in privacy. Give me some examples.
Yeah.
What's in my baker's toolkit here?
Zero-knowledge proofs are a big one.
Okay, that sounds intense.
It's a mouthful, but the concept is cool. Imagine proving you've got something without revealing what it is.
Like, I have the winning lottery ticket,
Exactly.
but I'm not showing you the number.
You get it. That's zero knowledge in action.
Okay. The guide also mentions things like ring signatures, homomorphic encryption. Those seem way more advanced.
So here's the good news.
Do I need to be like a cryptography expert?
You don't need to know everything about each solution.
Okay.
Pick a few that align with the types of roles you're going for.
Right.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be a game changer.
Oh, yeah. Their AI feedback. Tell me more about that.
So let's say you're really into a company. They're all about public, transparent blockchains.
Right. So privacy is not their main thing.
Exactly. You might not need to go as deep on zero-knowledge proofs for them.
Okay.
But another company, they're dealing with sensitive financial data. Privacy is paramount. RoleCatcher picks up on that based on the job description.
Right.
It's like having a personalized cheat sheet for each interview.
That is amazing. Okay, next question. This one seems a little less intimidating, but maybe it's a trap. How do you optimize blockchain applications for scalability and performance?
Classic interview question.
What are they really getting at with that?
They want to know if you understand the limitations of blockchain.
Which are?
It's fantastic for security, immutability, all that.
Right.
But speed and handling tons of users, not blockchain's forte. So they want to hear, how are you going to solve that?
So how do I even begin to approach this one?
Think scaling solutions. There's sharding, like cutting a pizza into slices.
Yeah.
Easier to handle, right?
Right.
Or off-chain scaling, like having an express lane for certain transactions, makes things much faster.
Okay, so I'm basically showing them my toolkit of solutions. And again, RoleCatcher's AI can help me pick the right tools for the job, so to speak.
Exactly. Tailoring your answers is key.
This AI is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Smart contracts can't talk blockchain without them.
The heart of it all.
Right. And this question is interesting. What is your experience with smart contract development? Not just like, do you know what they are?
It's showtime. This is where you brag a little.
I was going to say, time to toot my own horn. What should I focus on?
Proficiency and Solidity or Viper, those are your heavy hitters, language-wise.
Okay.
And any projects you've built, even if they're just for fun.
So it's like, oh yeah, just whipped up this decentralized application in my spare time. No big deal.
Exactly. It shows initiative, passion.
Right.
And don't forget security. Mentioning how you build with security in mind always impresses.
Because it's one thing to make code that works.
Right.
It's another to make sure it can't be hacked. Okay, yeah. I'm sensing a theme here. It's not enough to just know the stuff. It's about connecting the dots to what the company actually needs.
You're getting it. It's about showing them you can solve their problems with your skills.
Okay, next question. And this one throws me for a loop a little. What is your experience with blockchain integration and interoperability? It sounds kind of vague.
Yeah, a bit broad.
Like, what does that even mean in practical terms?
Think of it this way. Not every company is starting from scratch. They've got systems in place.
Right. Real world stuff.
So they need someone who can build the bridge between their old world and the blockchain world.
So it's not just about, like, coding on the blockchain itself. It's making it talk to everything else.
Exactly. APIs are your friend here. They're like translators helping different systems talk to each other.
I have a good analogy. What else should I mention?
Middleware is another big one. It acts as a bridge between different software applications. And if you've worked on any specific integration projects, now's the time to shine.
So I should come with examples ready to go.
Absolutely. The more specific, the better.
Okay, making a note of that. So it's about showing I can not only build on the blockchain, but make it play nicely with others.
Exactly. And guess what? RoleCatcher's AI can actually suggest relevant integration examples to highlight. It'll analyze the company you're interviewing with and suggest things that might be a good fit for their specific needs.
Seriously.
Yeah.
This AI is like having a superpower. Okay, next question. This one's a bit meta. How do you stay up to date with the latest blockchain trends and technologies?
The million-dollar question.
Right, because this field moves so fast.
They want to see that you're passionate about learning, that you're not going to be left behind when the next big thing comes along.
Because let's face it, it's going to come along.
Oh, yeah.
Like, probably tomorrow.
Exactly. So how do you prove you're in it for the long haul? You got to be specific.
Okay, so instead of just saying, I read articles.
Name drop those publications, CoinDesk, academic journals, specific blogs.
Show them I'm actually paying attention.
Yes. Conferences, meetups, online communities.
All that good stuff.
It all adds up. And if you've contributed to any open source projects, that's gold.
Because that shows you're not just consuming information, you're out there building stuff.
Exactly. You're actively participating in the evolution of the technology.
Okay, so I need to demonstrate that I'm not just keeping up, but I'm actively seeking out knowledge and engaging with the community.
Exactly. And guess what? RoleCatcher's AI can suggest resources and conferences that align with the specific roles you're targeting. It's all about making your learning more efficient and targeted.
Man, that AI is on fire. Okay, this next one seems pretty fundamental. How do you ensure the transparency and immutability of blockchain transactions? Those are kind of blockchain superpowers, right?
The dynamic duo. Transparency, meaning anyone can see the transaction history. Immutability, meaning once it's on the blockchain, it's set in stone.
So how do I explain those concepts without, like, giving a lecture on cryptography?
Focus on the why. Transparency comes from that public ledger, like a giant tamper-proof record of every transaction.
Okay, I can work with that. What about immutability?
Cryptographic hash functions. They create a unique fingerprint for each block. Change one tiny thing.
Yeah, the whole thing falls apart.
Exactly, like a line of dominoes. And don't forget digital signatures. They verify the authenticity of each transaction, adding another layer of security.
Okay, so I've got transparency, we've got immutability, all locked down. But now we're back to privacy. How do you ensure the privacy and confidentiality of blockchain transactions? Didn't we already cover this?
They did. But this is your chance to really dive into those specific technologies we mentioned earlier. Zero-knowledge proofs, remember those? Like having a secret password but proving you know it without actually revealing it.
Right, the lottery ticket example. What else can I pull out of my blockchain bag of tricks?
Ring signatures. They make it almost impossible to trace a transaction back to its source. Imagine a detective trying to solve a crime, but the evidence is all jumbled up.
That's a good one. Any other privacy tricks up your sleeve?
Absolutely. Homomorphic encryption, this one's a bit of a mind bender. It allows computations to be performed on encrypted data without decrypting it. It's like solving a math problem without ever seeing the actual numbers.
Okay, you've officially lost me, but it sounds impressive. So basically, I need to showcase my understanding of these advanced privacy-enhancing technologies and how they can be applied in the real world.
Exactly. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you choose the right technologies to focus on based on the specific company and role you're interested in. It's all about putting your best foot forward and highlighting the skills that are most relevant to the job at hand.
It's like having a secret weapon in my interview arsenal.
Exactly. So we've covered a lot of ground here, from privacy to scalability to smart contracts and beyond. Are you ready to tackle some more interview challenges in the wild world of blockchain development?
All right, so you've aced those tough technical questions.
We're on a roll.
But, like,
there's more.
Getting the job is just the first step, right? Oh, right. It's like the interview is just the beginning. What else does this career guide say about actually, like, thriving long term?
One of the biggest things is your portfolio. And for blockchain developers, it's not just any portfolio.
Yeah, it's not like I can just show them a website I designed or something. What makes it different in the blockchain world?
It's got to be about solving real-world problems.
Okay, so less about showing off my design skills.
Right.
More about the brains behind the code.
Think of it this way. You could tell a recruiter, I'm all about secure, decentralized apps.
Right.
Or you could show them a decentralized voting system you built, a supply chain tracker. That's the good stuff.
So a working demo is worth 1,000 buzzwords.
Exactly.
But how else can I make my portfolio stand out, aside from, having amazing projects in it?
Documentation. Don't underestimate it.
Oh, right. Because just having the code isn't enough.
It's like writing a lab report for each project. Explain your thought process, the challenges, how you overcame them. It shows you understand the why, not just the how.
So clear, concise documentation. Got it. What about networking? Because I got to be honest, that word makes me want to run and hide.
I hear you. But networking in blockchain is different. This industry is all about collaboration, open source.
It's
like everyone's building the future together one block at a time.
Okay, so less about schmoozing, more about actually connecting.
Exactly. Conferences, meetups, online communities. Dive in. You never know who you'll meet. Could be your next mentor, your future co-founder.
Okay, if you're making networking sound kind of awesome, what about online communities? Are those good for this too?
Absolutely. Online forums, open source projects. Contribute, share what you know. It all comes back to being part of that global blockchain family.
I'm into it. Okay, so networking is crucial. The guide also mentioned certifications. Are those really necessary? It seems like everyone's getting certified these days.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming, like trying to pick a winning crypto. But the right certification, it adds legitimacy, especially if you're new to the field.
So it's not just about collecting them like NFTs.
Right. Choose ones that genuinely boost your skills. Like if you're into Ethereum and development.
You get the Ethereum developer certification.
Exactly. And even if you don't end up getting a specific certification, the learning process is valuable in itself.
Okay, that makes sense. Portfolio, networking, certifications.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground. What else can we do to really stand out in the blockchain space?
Landing a job is great, but what about thriving long term? This field is all about continuous learning.
Okay, so I can't just coast on my blockchain knowledge after I get hired. What are some ways to make sure I stay ahead of the curve?
It's a mindset. Don't just rely on formal training, personal projects, experimenting with new tech. Embrace the learning process.
So it's about being a lifelong student of blockchain.
Exactly. And finding mentors, someone who's been there, done that.
Right, mentorship. But how do you even find a blockchain mentor? It's not like they're just hanging out at Starbucks.
You'd be surprised. Remember all those networking opportunities we talked about?
Conferences, meetups.
Exactly. Those are gold mines for finding mentors. Just be genuine, ask questions, and be open to learning from their experiences.
It's all about building those connections. And speaking of connections, it's easy to get so caught up in the technical stuff that we forget about soft skills. Those are still important, right?
Oh, huge. I've seen candidates bomb interviews because they aced the tech questions.
But couldn't hold a conversation.
Exactly.
So what soft skills should blockchain developers focus on?
Communication is key. You're explaining complex ideas to people who might not be technical.
So being able to break it down into plain English is crucial.
Exactly. Problem solving is another big one. Blockchain is still evolving, so challenges are guaranteed.
Gotta love a good challenge.
Right. And teamwork. Most blockchain projects are collaborative. You've got to be able to work effectively with others.
It's like building a human blockchain.
I love that. And you know what else can help with this? RoleCatcher's AI.
Wait, really? How does AI help with soft skills?
It can analyze your resume, your cover letter.
Oh, interesting.
And it'll suggest ways to highlight those soft skills. It can even help you weave them into your interview answers.
So it's like having a personal branding expert in my pocket.
Exactly. It's all about presenting yourself as a well-rounded candidate.
This has been eye-opening. I feel like I have a much better grasp on not just landing the job, but actually building a successful career in blockchain.
That's what we like to hear. It's not just about the tech, it's about embracing the journey.
I'm feeling inspired. But before we get too carried away, there's one more thing I'm curious about. The guide mentioned adjacent career paths. What are those, and how do they fit into the blockchain world? Adjacent career paths. Okay.
It's interesting, right?
Because it makes it sound like, oh, if blockchain doesn't work out.
Right, you've got a backup plan.
Yeah, exactly. But it's more than that, isn't it?
It speaks to a quality that's super valuable in blockchain. Adaptability.
Okay, I'm listening.
This field moves so fast. Someone who can pivot, who sees those other paths not as dead ends, but as connected.
Right.
That's gold.
So being open to new directions, even if they're unexpected, that's a strength.
Huge strength. Take that software developer example from the guide.
Okay.
Someone with that broader skill set They're not limited to just blockchain. They can jump between those worlds, bring fresh ideas.
So the more you know about the surrounding areas, the better you can navigate blockchain itself.
Exactly.
What other adjacent careers, like, stuck out to you?
The embedded systems security engineer one was interesting.
Oh, right, because blockchain's getting used in all sorts of devices now.
Exactly. So someone who gets both the hardware side and the decentralized security part, super valuable.
Because you're not just securing the code, you're securing the actual thing, right?
Right. And then it mentioned industrial mobile devices software developer.
Okay, now we're getting really specific.
But it makes sense. Supply chains, logistics, all that, ripe for blockchain disruption.
You've officially blown my mind with the possibilities. But it all comes back to being adaptable, curious.
100%. And that ties back to continuous learning. The people who really excel in blockchain, they never stop exploring. New projects, new tech.
It's like a constant adventure.
Exactly. And that passion is contagious. When you're excited about what you're doing, it shows.
Passion is definitely a superpower. And you know what else feels like a superpower? RoleCatcher's AI. It's like having a secret weapon in my back pocket, helping me navigate this whole blockchain world.
For real. From tailoring your interview answers to helping you find awesome resources, it's like having a personal blockchain advisor.
So to wrap things up, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this deep dive?
Don't just chase the job, chase the passion. If you're genuinely excited about blockchain, the rest will fall into place. Learn the skills, build cool stuff, and never stop exploring.
Chase the passion. I love it. Thanks so much for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you all next time for more career adventures.